Okay, so I'm trying to make sure that I say this correctly. I am not talking about statistically, because Jimmy Butler may well have the better game statistically. What he did the other night, the 40, the 11, and the 13 is spectacular in the playoffs. But you know I'm going to pick LeBron because of the way LeBron gets his team ready after a loss.
Yep.
They have lost 3 times so far in the playoffs, and each time they came back with a win. And each time he fed the Bulldog, and the Bulldog was Anthony Davis. So in those 3 games, Anthony Davis went 33-9. LeBron's numbers, 21-9-8 in those games, are actually below his averages most of the time. But I think LeBron puts it on his shoulders in a way that other people don't and maybe can't. So I'm going to say LeBron, with no disrespect to Jimmy Butler, who may have better numbers.
Well, Tony, once again, you know who my favorite player in this league is, and part of it is because of the way Jimmy Butler, said player, plays against LeBron. I mean, he goes against basketball royalty, all-time royalty, and he's right in there. 18-19 is his record. But, Tony, the underestimated thing about LeBron, the underappreciated thing about, yes, even LeBron James, is the way he prepares, the way he takes what happened in the previous game or practices and changes it, morphs it, adjusts it, makes it fit what is coming the next game. LeBron's basketball intellect is enormous, and it's underappreciated. And if you listened to him last night, and I did, that's all he talked about. They were great. We weren't. I'm the point guard of this team. I can't have 8 turnovers. We are going to look at the film, study this, and figure out a way to be terrific in the next game, meaning tonight. And LeBron's going to be great. But I'm not going to say Jimmy Butler's not going to be great, Tony. They got to get something from Bam. They got to get not a big performance from Bam. They got to get meaningful minutes from Bam if he can play. We don't know that yet. Tony, LeBron's going to be great. That one thing I think we agree on.
Thank you. Next.
Toss-up, their divisional series starts tonight. Who you got, the Padres or the Dodgers?
So you mentioned Bam Adebayo, and you want something out of him. The Padres, yeah, I like her. I think she's really good. I think she's a terrific singer.
Talented woman.
Love to watch her in movies, like her a lot. I don't know if she's planking. I'm planking. Ask me how much I did the other day. You don't even know what planking is. You don't even know what it is. You think it's plankton.
Plank.
That's stuff at the bottom of a fish tank.
46 defense, Doug Plank. That's all, only Plank I know.
It's different. Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, the Chiefs handle the Patriots. The Yankees are putting up big numbers, and the Heat try to even things up with the Lakers. But we begin today with Aaron Rodgers throwing 4 touchdown passes as the Packers beat the winless Falcons 30-16. The Packers are now 4-0, and Rodgers has thrown 13 touchdowns and no interceptions. He has the highest quarterback rating in the NFL, and all we hear is Russell Wilson, Patrick Mahomes, and Josh Allen. Wilbon, is Rodgers the best of them all?
No, not necessarily. And you know, I love Rodgers. I got to say, Tony, when I was hearing about this last night, I couldn't help but think of you first. Because you had Rodgers going in and demanding a trade before game 2.
Yep.
You had him and Matt LaFleur, you know, like being Rams, butting heads and not getting along. And right now, you look absurdly wrong because Rodgers is doing what he does. He's doing what he does. This is his thing. No, he's not better right now than Russell Wilson. He's not better right now than Josh Allen. I would put Mahomes, even though he's the MVP and like the presumptive MVP for this year too, I'd put him 4th in that group. But no, Rodgers is in that group, and no one has separated himself yet, and it may take weeks.
Well, let me give you some statistics. Rodgers, 13 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Wilson, 16 touchdowns, but 2 interceptions. Allen, 12 touchdowns, 1 interception. Mahomes, 11-0. But Rodgers is the only one in that group whose coach drafted a quarterback to put him in the game sooner rather than later. That's exactly right. Because Andy Reid loves Mahomes, right? And Pete Carroll loves Wilson. And that muscle-bound guy in Buffalo probably loves Josh Allen. But I'm waiting, I am waiting for Rodgers to go and knock on LaFleur's door and say, get me out of here, I hate your guts. Yes, I am waiting for that.
Well, you know what may happen before he does that? They could get to the Super Bowl, and then how silly would you look then? You would just double down.
I don't think I look silly.
Of course you do. Because what they're doing is working now. And nobody's mentioning this Love kid. Only you. You're the only one outside of Wisconsin, of the cheesehead state, obsessed with this theme. The fact is, Aaron Rodgers is doing what we know him to do. Tony, I will say this. It just seems to me like the Packers, in a way, failed Aaron Rodgers in some of these other years when he was great and they didn't have the personnel out there that they should have had out there. And I don't know if I'm going to blame Mike McCarthy for all of that. Probably not. But Rodgers is great. Has he separated himself from Josh Allen and from Russell Wilson, and even from Patrick Mahomes? No, but there's plenty of time for that.
Let me go over this one more time with Matt LaFleur. Matt LaFleur's career record right now is 17-3. After 20 games, that's the second greatest number of all time. The only guy with a bigger number, hold on, the only guy with a bigger number is George Seifert, and he inherited Bill Walsh's teams. He is now tied with Paul Brown. Do you think Paul Brown would have drafted Jordan Love if he had Aaron Rodgers? Because I don't think he would have.
Be careful about that, because executives that you and I hold in great reverence, they did stuff like trade Wilt. I mean, they did stuff, and just because you don't remember it, don't be a prisoner of the moment, you millennial you.
He's throwing touchdowns to a tight end from Indiana State who's got a man bun. He's already got 5 touchdowns.
Stop obsessing. The early game last night, which we're going to try to get to, is going to be late tonight before we get to this if Tony keeps interrupting, featured the Chiefs beating the Pats. The result wasn't a surprise, given that the virus left New England without Cam Newton and forced the team to fly in earlier the same day, that morning. But what some found surprising was how long Bill Belichick's team hung in there before Tyrann Mathieu intercepted a ball off the hands of Julian Edelman. Nice job. And returned it for a touchdown. Tone, did you find the Chiefs' win to be impressive?
Let me start with this. The Chiefs covered at 14, so they obviously covered at 7. So you owe me a round of golf anywhere in the country that I want. Okay, so you're not dealing with El Stupido right now. Now, was I impressed? No, I was not, because the Patriots, it was a 3-point game in the fourth quarter, and Brian Hoyer made 2 terrible plays inside the red zone. Once he got sacked, and he didn't have any timeouts at the end of the first half, and once he got stripped of the ball and sacked, and so they could have had at least 6 points, maybe as many as 14, and what happened was he got benched. When was the last time Belichick benched a quarterback? Maybe in Cleveland. There's no doubt that Cam Newton's lack of ability to play in that game because of the diagnosis hurt that team. No, the Chiefs were not that impressive, no.
No, they weren't, Tony. And what's interesting is they haven't been truly impressive yet this season. They were against Baltimore. I take that back. But in 3 of the 4
they beat
games,
Baltimore bad.
I said, Baltimore, I'm going to make an exception for. 3 out of the 4, no. And it's okay, because they are now that team getting the best shot that everybody has when they walk out there. I mean, they're getting everybody's, and they having to go against Belichick. I don't care who he had playing quarterback. You mentioned the last time he benched somebody. Doesn't Drew Bledsoe come to mind? I mean, the details of it are sketchy to me at this point.
He was hurt, Mike. He was hurt.
Was he hurt?
I mean,
so he never benched Bledsoe straight up, healthy Bledsoe?
Not benched, no.
Okay.
No.
But, Tony, it's okay. I think that Kansas City will be better for this. I think they'll be better for being pushed and challenged and having to grind out these games as opposed to just blowing everybody out, for like 7-1. I don't think that helps this team in terms of following up with a Super Bowl.
I agree with that, but they also got lucky last night. There was that one play where Mahomes, it was either a fumble or a pass that went right into the Patriots guy, and they said he was in the grasp, and they got very lucky in that. That should have been a turnover.
I agree
should
with
have been. The Yankees got 4 home runs last night, giving them 11 through 3 playoff games. They chased former Cy Young winner Blake Snell, and they beat Tampa 9-3. The last 4 runs came on a 9th-inning grand slam by Giancarlo Stanton, who now has 3 homers in 3 playoff games. Wilbon, does a healthy Stanton make this a different Yankee team?
Probably, Tony. Anytime you have that kind of menacing bat in the middle of your lineup when he's healthy, which seems to be not all that often for the Yankees, it helps you. But, Tony, beating Snell and Bieber the way they did, I mean, look, you and I are from the old baseball school that says, I'll take a great pitcher. Great pitching is going to be great hitting, and particularly in October, and we are now in October. So there's too much time and too many rounds left, too many playoff games remaining. This is not the October of 1930s when you played one series and Ruth and Garrett came out and smoked you and you went home with another trophy in a ticker tape parade. It's not that. So there's too much time to go to declare them, to me, omnipotent, but it's pretty damn impressive so far.
So what I will say is, last night, Tampa, I believe, wasted a great opportunity in this regard. They got 3 runs off Garrett Cole in 6 innings, including 2 home runs. You got to beat Garrett Cole if you get 3 off him, because he's a great pitcher. He opened the playoffs with 13 strikeouts, and in the month of September, just last month, his ERA was 1. So to me, you've got to win that game. In terms of Stanton, the last 2 years, Stanton has been a complete waste of money. He's only played, Mike, in 41 out of 222 games. He's had 7 home runs in 2 seasons. But if he's healthy and Aaron Judge, with a flick of his wrist, hits a line drive into the stands, they are, I mean, how do you beat them with that?
Tony, you can beat them. You covered Yankees teams with Reggie Jackson in the middle of the line. Right. And by the way, they won, what, 2 or 3, whatever it was. They won 3. I guess they won 3.
They won World Series. They did.
Tony, but still, they didn't win every year. I mean, I still believe, I don't believe it's just some old axiom. I believe in it. I believe in it in practice, that great pitching is going to beat great hitting in October. The Yankees still have teams to conquer, and people can either pitch around or smartly get through.